Hello, everyone. That seems so strange sometimes to say that when you're doing a podcast and you're not really interacting with your audience. But hello, it's good to be here again. If you are watching live, I've got the chat open. And if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Periscope on Twitter, I can see your messages and I'll respond verbally since I can't really type it in right now. But just want you to know that you can type in a question or a comment and I will see it because I do have my chat open here on the podcast. So today I am excited to chat a little bit about with the topic of remaining centered in the midst of chaos. This is something that I've been really observing as of late, especially since I did some more deep work, inner work last week and was able to remove what I call a blocking program module. And in doing that, a lot more clarity came through, and I'm still adjusting. Like it's kind of like being reborn. The contraction, fear-based blocking beliefs and frequencies are removed when that particular aspect of your overall unconscious blocking program. And when they're removed, they're no longer transmitting. Therefore, they're no longer the source of creation for your avatar, your human self, your avatar's experiences here in the physical world, what I call the sim world. So with that gone, like I said, it's like being reborn. And it's like learning how to walk and talk again in a new way, in a better way. And I've become much more aware of how much the previous couple of modules that I released had influenced my avatar's unconscious alignment, association, harmonic connection to the fear, anger energies. Embracing them as though they are something about herself, my avatar, when they're not really. They're experiences, but it's not the essence of our consciousness. It's not the actual building block of what we are, to put it in a particular way. So I've been noticing, especially with the chaos that is our country, our energetic environment of our country right now. I interact quite a bit off and on social media, and I've been really enjoying observing the creations of posts, the reactions, and the energy of those reactions. And it's been a great opportunity for contrast and insight. So I want to talk a little bit about, like I said today, about remaining centered, because right now it's so important, and I hope you would agree, perhaps you would, that the ultimate goal of the human experience is to feel good about oneself. Not at the expense of somebody else, but to feel good about yourself, just acknowledging the beauty of who you are. And it's interesting because in the quantum perspective or view, context, we're not separate. We're all entangled. Our physical self is not something separate from the greater consciousness. It's merely another extension, another aspect of it. Maybe an analogy would be your body, your physical energy field in the more contracted sim world. We seem to have shape and form, the illusion of having a solid body comprised of body cells. Now, each of those body cells function in a multiple ways. They take nourishment, they eliminate waste, they have a level of consciousness, they communicate with other body cells and other parts of the body. They're like a little individuation of your physical self. So perhaps the analogy would be that an avatar is like a body cell of the greater consciousness. It's influenced by the greater consciousness. And yet it carries on with its own little programming, doing what it's going to be doing day in, day out, unless there's interference. And that interference comes in the form of fear energy, fear frequencies. Because remember, fear is the root. Anger, judgment, all of that comes after. Anger is secondary to fear. Anger is a response to fear, as opposed to the actual cause. Anger itself comes from fear. So when we're feeling frustrated and angry and powerless, we are affecting the overall function of our physical body cells, the actual DNA, and the overall body of consciousness. So it's not just your physical energy field that's affected by prolonged reactionary response to so-called outside events, because it's not really in or out, but the illusion that it is. And when you feel yourself triggered, what I've been doing is just taking a breath and asking what would be for the highest and greatest good. Where do I want this energy to go? Because once I put it out into the quantum field, aka outside world, it's going to keep creating and self-perpetuating that same frequency, and it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's going to expand the magnitude of its bandwidth, and it's going to have a result. It's going to create certain types of experiences for others. What do I want to do with my energy? Because we're all so powerful, because we're energetic beings. Our physical body appears to be solid because of the clockwise contraction spin of the energy that we are comprised of. Expansion spin and contraction spin. But its baseline, its reality is energy, constantly in motion and movement. And because we all are entangled, and in the metaphysics we would refer to that as everything is everything, or interconnectedness, because we are all interconnected, we are all from the same energy field, we are all sourced and unified. We may not be fully conscious of it, but when we pay attention to that, we can begin to notice the outcome of what we feel and therefore transmit and project into the quantum field, aka the world. So I've been paying a lot of attention to this, because remaining centered in the midst of chaos is one way that we can shift the outcome of experiences. Remaining neutral and void of judgment of the situation allows us to remain connected to the possibilities of creation of a better outcome. What would be for the greatest and highest good? So I'm inviting, and well, let me step back. Whatever tools that you have, whether they're something that puts you in touch with a sense of presence at the now moment of what you're feeling, and really paying attention. One of my friends, Francis, posted a wonderful meditation, it was an acupuncturist that talked about becoming present and experiencing your energy field. I'm going to post that on my Empowered Whole Being Foundation Facebook page. And I really liked it because it gave another tool. So whatever tools you're using, and if you don't have any, I would encourage you and invite you to find some. There's so many. Or you can utilize the audio file for the meditation technique that I created based upon the quantum biology information of what we really are as transmitters and receivers of electromagnetic frequency information, aka feelings. It's available for free. You just need to go, you would only need, you can get it, download it onto your smartphone or tablet by going to empoweredwholebeing.com. The URL is streaming in the bottom of the screen here. And go to the self-discovery tab. And when you hover over that, you will see the drop-down box for Divine Heart Coherence Technique, and all the information's there. You can have access to the instructions and also the download link there. So there's that. There's other ways to practice being present. So what I'm encouraging and what I'm doing is I'm really paying attention to how I feel. So as an intuitive empath, the way that I recognize anger energy is that it's a hot, tight feeling in my heart and belly, my chest and belly. Because remember, the belly, your gut, your enteric nervous system has, I should say, over 100 million neurons, and it functions like a brain. And that's why many scientists refer to it as the second brain or the belly brain. It secretes and creates all the same hormones and neurotransmitters as the brain and the head, and stores 95% of the serotonin that is created. Therefore, it controls its disbursement. So there's all these ways, everything's interconnected, entangled, working together, either to support stress mode of the autonomic system or the restorative mode. It depends upon how you feel. So if you notice like a hot tightness or even a prickly feeling in your belly or your chest, you probably are transmitting quite a bit of anger energy. I've noticed the different kinds of feelings for fear. Sometimes it's just sort of a deadness, a tight kind of deadness. But other times with that, sometimes there's an icy feeling, which is interesting. The point being, and a tightness, all of those so-called, quote-unquote, feeling bad feelings are spinning in contraction clockwise. So you'll always feel heavier, tighter, tired, lethargic, sometimes foggy-headed. It's because the focus is on the contraction. And when we go, and that focus on contraction will speed the heart rate. And when that happens, we go into the stress mode. And when our body's in the stress mode, the prefrontal cortex is bypassed. And over time of continually being in stress mode, it actually shrinks the prefrontal cortex. So fear, just like joy, if we are feeling one or the other, the physical energy field, which is fluid and malleable, will adapt and adjust and support whatever that person is mainly focusing on with their feelings. I think it's amazing. And it's so powerful to know that and to understand that and utilize that information to create more peace in one's life, more centeredness, more feeling of connection and belonging and purpose and value. Because we all come from the same energy. We all are very building blocks of our physical field and whatever other conscious energy fields that comprises our, what I call the avatar. The building blocks or this expansion spin energy, you can call it whatever you want. Divine consciousness, quantum consciousness, source. That's already what we are. It's not external. It's what we're comprised of, like the body cell inside of a body. So whatever tools or techniques that you have access to, or ask when you're in meditation or prayer, ask, what's for the highest and greatest good? What ways can I create more feelings of safety, of belonging, of value? How can I shift from fear to joy? And in doing that, pausing and not reacting, you then are contributing to a new outcome. Because what we experience is solely determined by what we feel, therefore what we are transmitting. Remember, our feelings are frequencies. So whatever tools that you have, or seek them, I'm recommending, to find your way to remain centered no matter the chaos around you. Because if we focus on the chaos, then it becomes more. Basic quantum rule, whatever you focus upon expands. Because more creation attention is placed on it. And just like in the physical body, the more we're in stress, the prefrontal cortex loses neurons and shrinks, where the amygdala in the back of the head grows more neurons, becomes more active, is one example. And conversely, if we focus on feeling joy and seeing that there's always a blessing from every situation, there's always a purpose for greater good, the amygdala loses neuron mass. It grows more. The body creates more in the prefrontal cortex, and the prefrontal cortex actually grows in size. Everything is fluid. Everything is malleable. And it's based on how we feel. And by taking ownership and accountability for how we feel, we then can choose how we want to contribute to what everyone experiences. more joy, more fear. It's up to us. We can be a part of that, an active part of that. So learning how to remain centered amidst chaos is really a wonderful tool, and I highly recommend it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. This has gone a little bit over today. You can either go to the Facebook page or reach out to me if we're connected on Facebook. However, make a comment. Let me know if you have questions. And a lot of this information that I talk about is in my book, Spiritual Transformation Simplified. It's the combination and fusion of quantum biology and quantum physics and metaphysics. So until next time we're together on next Thursday, I just wish you so much joy, and that knowing that and holding the vision that every step of the way that you'll begin to feel how supported you are to feel good, that it's already there, it's already within your power. It's just yours for the asking. So until then, wishing for you great joy.